Part 63. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 621. At the moment, Fang Fan has 8 6-star King level combat powers under his command. A 7-star King level combat power. This lineup is not too strong, but at least it is already a great improvement. Master Fang Fan, I don't think the situation is optimistic. This time I originally came with the determination to die. Anyway, the winged human race will not be destroyed, and my spirit race will not survive. But now, I see the hope for the growth and rise of the spirit race, so, at this moment, I don't want to go to the innocent to die again. To deal with the winged people, we still need to replan. Ling Shang, the patriarch of the spiritual clan, walked over quietly, with a serious look on his face. Looking at him like this, it really doesn't look like the kind of sudden awakening, it seems to be the conclusion that he came to after struggling for a long time. How to plan? I've almost exhausted all the killing points I've got. Besides, it may not be without the power of a battle. If I said that I didn't have much confidence in this battle before, but now I'm 70% sure that the 8-star King level patriarch of the winged people can be killed. It's just that the patriarch of the winged clan can't have too much combat power to protect him, otherwise it will fall short. Fang Fan took a deep breath. Xiao Jinlong has been promoted to the 7-star King realm. At that time, using a high-level King level potential explosion card can raise it to a level, and within 10 minutes, it will have the ability to hold down the 8-star King level patriarch of the winged human race, and then it will be easy to do. But if there are too many 6-star 7-star King level combat powers sent by the winged people, Fang Fan will also be very passive. Build a 9th rank power. Once the 9th rank power is established, we can use this to deter the winged people. Make them dare not make any changes. And after the establishment of a 9th rank power, you can choose a true god to worship, and there will be endless benefits at that time. Ling Shang's eyes gradually brightened, and from his point of view, this has always been a piece of his heart. Let the spirit race be promoted to the 9th rank force, or join the 9th rank force, this is what Ling Shang is willing to fight to the end. To put it bluntly, in his heart, there is such a prayer. Establish a 9th rank power. Fang Fan glanced at Ling Shang, and he also found out that this guy has been thinking about it all the time. It seems that this is the thing. It's only been a few hours, and at least it has been mentioned in his ear 7 or 8 times. Is the temptation of the 9th grade power so great? Fang Fan looked thoughtful. Ling Shang said more and more vigorously, without any intention of stopping. Fang Fan, once we have established a 9th rank force, we can also start recruiting vassal groups to work for us. At that time, we will be able to grow even more. I heard that for every promotion of the incoming power, as long as the gods have survived the calamity, they will receive the blessings and rewards of the gods. There will be countless benefits. There may even be a surge in cultivation. Ling Shang licked his lips and took out all the benefits he knew about being promoted to a ranked power. Fang Fan summed it up a little. He probably has 2 hard benefits in establishing a 9th rank power. First, you can build a so-called temple, worship the true God, and get the reward of the true God. Second, through the divine calamity, everyone in this force will gain a great benefit. As for the form in which this benefit is presented, Ling Shang is also ambiguous. After all, he has never experienced it. After all, it is actually for the promotion card of the 9th rank power. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 622. If it looks like this, it is indeed beneficial to be promoted to the 9th rank power now. Fang Fan nodded secretly, being so tinkered with by Ling Shang, it seemed like it was a sin not to be promoted. There are countless forces in this world, but it is not just a winged human race. One winged human race can come today, and all kinds of other races can come tomorrow. After all, the orc plane and the human plane are now connected. The orc plane has now become a battlefield for all races to fight. Any possibility is possible, a little bit of laxity may be the end of 5 horses. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, and the light in his eyes flickered. Leave a few sentries to keep an eye on the situation here. If there is any movement, report it immediately. Staying here blindly, it's really not a problem. I don't know when those winged people will be able to send reinforcements. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes and thought to himself. Taking advantage of this time, make yourself stronger in an all-round way, this is the real business. The whole army. All-round rush to China, Zhongcheng. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, he was going to establish his own 9th rank force in Zhongcheng. Zhongcheng was originally the capital of the Yan Kingdom, and it is understandable to change his identity now. Great victory. Great victory for the human race. In any case, at this moment, those winged people in the M realm have all been beheaded. Winged corpses piled up like mountains, making people subconsciously feel fear. World Babel dialogue box. The winged man is gone. Fang Fan is invincible. I knew for a long time that Fang Fan could completely wipe out the winged people, but I didn't expect it to be so fast. Hey, it's too strong. Thousands of king-level wingmen have been killed. There are winged corpses everywhere. Let the winged man get out. With Fang Fan's alliance leader here, the human plane is as stable as Mount Tai. Hoo. Fang Fan is invincible. The human race has Fang Fan's patron saint, everlasting. I want to kneel and lie under the command of the Lord Fang Fan forever, immortal. Sounds like this are endless. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes and nodded secretly, the corners of his mouth raised subconsciously. What he can do for the human race is what he has always pursued. The human race is our human race. The human race should report to the group to keep warm. Depend on each other. Mutual development. Mutual progress. If we want to stand on the top of all races and not be insulted by foreign races, we also need to keep improving ourselves. Fang Fan typed out these words indifferently, and then chose to exit the World Tongtian ranking dialogue. From the M realm to the Chinese realm, Fang Fan and others ran with all their strength, and they arrived in 2 hours. Fang Fan summoned everyone back from the northern capital city in advance and gathered in Zhong City. No matter what the benefits will be after being promoted to a 9th rank power later, it is reasonable to protect the interests of the closest part. Lord. You called us back for what? Zhang Ao hurried forward to meet him. On the other side of Baiduchen, there are still a lot of military forces waiting to be dealt with. Although it is said that there are no other alien races in Baidu City, it must not relax now. Don't be impatient. Everyone's here. Fang Fan squinted his eyes and glanced left and right. It seems that all the people who are supposed to come have come. It's almost there. Zhang Ao nodded and said. Then let's start. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, held this black card in his hand, and silently placed it under the sunlight. Use the 9 rank power promotion card. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 623. Rumbling. The sky and the earth are eclipsed, and the thunder and lightning are interspersed. A strange look appeared on Fang Fan's face. 9 rank forces are being promoted. Please name it. A voice of indifference came from the ear, as if it came from the end of the endless Zushan, ancient and distant, but it seemed silent. Name, Palace of the Emperor. This name has been born in Fang Fan's mind for a long time. The Emperor of the human race. Humans can be kings and emperors. It means the full rise of the human race. It also represents Fang Fan's ardent hope. Named success. The imperial palace of the 9 rank powers was successfully created. God is coming. Thousands of miles of clear sky, turned into blood in an instant. Here seems to be a world covered with blood clouds, everything looks eerie. People subconsciously have a sense of escape. Rumbling. One after another shocking thunder is bred in the sky, as well as head-sized hail, 10-meter diameter fireballs, all falling from the sky. Everything is like experiencing the end of the world. The thunder turned into a giant dragon, and the hail suddenly evolved into heavenly soldiers holding ice thorns, and the 10-meter diameter fireballs turned into flame giants. They are like heavenly soldiers and heavenly generals, pouring down frantically, as if they want to completely devour this world. Fang Fan took a breath, his eyes twinkling brightly. Is this really just a divine calamity for the promotion of the 9th-rank forces? If you really experience this, who can stand it? Don't you get killed by going up? Master Fang Fan, is your card reliable? Seeing those thunder dragons, hailstone soldiers, and flame giants getting closer and closer, Ling Shang couldn't help showing a panicked look on his face. This situation, it seems that it is not as simple as imagined. Really fell into it? No one wants to live. One by one, they have to be dragged to the funeral. Seeing Ling Shang's suspicious look, Fang Fan's mouth twitched. It's the first time I've used this kind of card. How do I know if it's reliable or not? If these Thunder Dragon Flame Giants really rush down, their dog lives may not be saved. Fang Fan took a deep breath. Although the distance was very long, he could feel the powerful pressure of these Thunder Dragon Flame Giants. Fortunately, when these Thunder Dragon Flame Giants were about to fall, a golden light suddenly radiated from the 9th-rank power promotion card in Fang Fan's hand. The golden light flickered violently in the air, and then gradually formed the 2 big characters Edict. When these 2 golden characters were formed, the Thunder Dragon Flame Giants seemed to have seen something extremely terrifying and began to flee frantically. Soon, the Doomsday scenes that had appeared in the sky began to slowly disappear. The galloping Thunder Dragon, the celestial soldier holding the ice thorns, or the flame giants have completely disappeared. It's amazing. Fang Fan sighed softly, some things, it's really impossible not to admit it. The sky is starting to clear up. The divine calamity of promotion to the 9th-rank power has passed. Suddenly, Ling Shang exclaimed excitedly. It's so easy to be promoted to a 9th-rank power. It doesn't hurt a single bit. It's unbelievable. Ling Shang's eyes flickered brightly, and until now, there is still a feeling of fog in the clouds. Is this over? Swoosh swish. Sky blue crystals suddenly began to fall from the sky, and the surrounding air seemed to become extremely fresh in an instant. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 624. Auspiciousness descends from the sky. After passing through the calamity, you will receive endless rewards from the gods. I've seen it in ancient books before, these are energy crystals bestowed by the gods. It can be swallowed directly to advance. Ling Shang's face suddenly turned red, and the corners of his mouth twitched wildly. It can be seen that he is very excited, very excited. A pair of eyeballs were about to pop out. Fang Fan squinted his hands and picked up an energy crystal under his feet. Ding! Absorb the 9th grade special energy crystal. Gain experience add 1 add 1 add 1. Fang Fan's eyes narrowed, there is such a good thing. Can it be used directly to increase his level experience? And then get promoted? Completely collect the sky blue energy crystal. Do not use it without authorization. Fang Fan took a deep breath and gave the order directly. Obviously, the value of these sky blue energy crystals is extraordinary and cannot be wasted. My lord, These energy crystals disappeared strangely before they could be picked up. Suddenly Caitlin cried out, a look of panic on her face. Fang Fan's face turned pale, and the crystals at his feet disappeared immediately. Hiss, it's so weird. After these sky blue energy crystals fell, most of them suddenly disappeared. Patriarch Ling Shang, do you know the reason? Among these people right now, only Ling Shang knows more about these things. Fang Fan, don't panic, this is the transformation of these energy crystals into temples, and spiritual veins. I found it. This special energy crystal is called a spiritual crystal. After the calamity falls, the spiritual crystal will be used to shape the corresponding level of temples and spiritual veins. The rest can be picked up. Ling Shang rambled a few words, and the expression on his face became more and more excited. It is holding a burnt yellow ancient book, which seems to record something of value. Fang Fan nodded secretly, it turned out to be shaping the temple and spiritual veins. The special energy crystals that were originally piled up like mountains, that is, those spiritual crystals were gradually wiped away. Within Fang Fan's field of vision, at a speed visible to the naked eye, a majestic building rose from the ground. This should be the so-called temple. In addition to the temple, more spiritual crystals gathered together and began to drill into the ground, quickly assembled and buried deep, and then formed a spiritual vein. The whole process lasted about an hour. The temple and the spiritual veins were built one after another. Ding. The system reminds me that the formation of the 9th grade temple and the 9th grade spiritual vein is completed. Ding. Warm reminder from the system, the host, please go to the temple to worship the true God. The dog system, which had been silent until now, suddenly appeared. Where did you go just now? I called you several times but didn't answer. I thought you were sleeping again. Fang Fan pouted, can he be more reliable? Ding. When the calamity came just now, there was an almighty gaze here, and this system can only temporarily avoid it. When the system sound came, Fang Fan's expression changed. The eyes of the Supreme Almighty scan here? Why does it look so weird? Was someone secretly monitoring his every move just now? Fang Fan secretly frowned, this is not a good phenomenon. Okay, now go to the temple and see. Sacrificing to the true God. How to operate it? Fang Fan pouted, having a dog system is equivalent to having an encyclopedia. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 625. Ding. Just ask the host to light the incense of the gods. When Fang Fan walked into the so-called temple in front of him, it was quiet inside. This is an empty hall with nothing. The decoration inside is quite luxurious. In the central part of the temple, there is a very huge gathering of incense sticks placed there. About how tall a person is, the thickness of the calf. This is the first time Fang Fan has seen such a huge incense. After igniting according to the system's prompts, a wisp of fragrance came. 1 minute. 10 minutes. Half an hour. Just waiting like this? Why is there no response? How long does it usually take to have a response? Fang Fan pouted, why does he always feel that there is a sign of entering the pit? According to normal circumstances, in 10 seconds, a god who is close to your attributes will enter the temple. The system answered honestly. So? What's the situation now? If there is no response for half an hour, what does it mean? Fang Fan's patience has reached a critical point. It means that the host has been spurned by the gods. It is the son of the gods. Fang Fan. Even the abandoned son of God came out. They don't want to come, I'm too lazy to worship them. To worship them, it is better to worship myself. Fang Fan stood directly on the desk and said casually. Ding. Detected the surrounding environment, and now release the selection tasks. Bow your head and admit your mistake, abandon it like a shoe, replace it. Bow his head and admit his mistake, as the Son of God, you kneel in the temple for 10 days and 10 nights, and there may be wild gods settled in. Abandoned as a shoe, just leave and do nothing for the benefit of the temple of waste. Replacement, consume 10,000 divine crystals. Create a virtual godhead, ignite a virtual godfire, cast a virtual priesthood, and establish yourself as a virtual god. Steal the power of believers' faith and take it for yourself. The first two options, bow your head to admit your mistake and abandon it like a shoe, are equal to what Fang Fangfan wants. He is an absolute utilitarian. Let him kneel here and pray for 10 days and 10 nights, that is simply unrealistic. As for giving up such a huge temple, Fang Fan felt a little distressed. After all, it took countless spiritual crystals to create it. Those spirit crystals can directly swallow the promotion level. And the last option replaced is quite in line with Fang Fan's wish. Make yourself a god. Steal the power of believers' faith. The word steal is too inappropriate. They are all my people, and I will collect the power of their faith. How can it be called stealing? Fang Fan pouted, thinking to himself. In any case, this should be the most suitable method at the moment. As for the 10,000 divine crystals consumed, Fang Fan does feel a little distressed. This is almost his entire net worth. But for the sake of long-term benefit, you should give up or give up. Choose replace. Ding. Deduct 10,000 divine crystals. Virtual Godhead has been successfully built. The virtual fire was ignited successfully. Virtual priesthood cast success. Ding. Please fix the god's name. The system sound came from his ear again, and Fang Fan pondered to himself. God's name? Take it out to fool people. Naturally, the reputation can't be too big. It must be the kind of god that ordinary people have never heard of, so the chance of exposure will be smaller. Arrogant god. The corners of Fang Fan's mouth were slightly raised, and under his influence, he also obtained a lot of desolate god sacrifice cards. Just grab a name, that's right. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 626. Ding. The Temple of the Wild God was established successfully. Ding. The host can extract the power of faith for himself. The system sound came again. Fang Fan secretly heaved a sigh of relief, and finally settled the matter. Extracting the power of faith. What is the power of faith? What effect does it have? How does it compare to divine power? Fang Fan narrowed his eyes and asked the system directly. Since all the gods need this thing, isn't it linked to divine power? With this desolate god temple, wouldn't he be able to continuously obtain divine power? So if you save for a while, you can exchange a few hero summoning cards in the dog system? An excited look appeared on Fang Fan's face. Ding. The power of faith can indeed be converted into divine power by the gods, but the host is a fake god, so it does not have this ability. Ding. The power of faith can be exchanged with the creation point of the Shushan Pavilion world. A trace of the power of faith can be exchanged for a point of creation, and vice versa. Convert to Genesis points? Fang Fan understood the meaning of the dog system. A trace of the power of faith can be exchanged for a creation point, but this exchange is not reversible, and the creation point cannot be exchanged for the power of belief. It seems that the existence value of the power of faith seems to be stronger. Ding. Aragama's virtual godhead, god fire, and priesthood come with a skill. Check it out for yourself. The perfunctory voice of the system came. Fang Fan's mind moved, and he began to check by himself. The virtual godhead of the wild god, the gift of the God of wild God, consume a certain amount of faith, reward one or many believers, and improve their cultivation. This skill has a 1-month cooldown period. Aragama's virtual divine fire skill, Aragama's wrath, consumes a certain amount of faith to increase his combat power by 3 levels, combat power only, no level upgrade, for 10 minutes. Cooling period 24 hours. Aragama's virtual clerical skill, Aragama's majesty, consumes a certain amount of faith to make oneself possess the breath and majesty of a true god, lasting 10 minutes, cooler for 24 hours. When Fang Fan saw these magical skills, his eyes were almost green. This is simply a skill tailored for him. And there is no such thing as a tasteless magic trick. The gift of the wild god, the magical skills brought by the Godhead, can allow me to improve the cultivation of believers, and thoroughly perform the duties of a true god. This skill is absolutely outstanding. It's just that the cool-down period is a bit too long, a month. It can only be performed once. Not to mention the Wrath of Aragama, the magical skill brought by Shenhuo has improved my combat power by 3 levels. I am not a scumbag after all. Fang Fan almost burst into tears. Although he is a 3-star king now, but every time he fights, he basically stays at the back. Because many of the enemies he fought against were 5-star and 6-star king level existences. In this level of battle, he can't get involved at all. In many cases, this is actually a kind of sadness. The majesty of the wild god, the effect is to pretend to be coercive. If you look at anyone who is not happy, just add the majesty of the wild god, and a true god is placed in front of you, and you will be scared to death. The smile on Fang Fan's face grew more and more. This time the choice is indeed the right choice. First of all, the development of the power of belief is an all-round improvement. Add these 3 skills and the benefits are even more. What we have to do now is to recruit some believers for the Shrine of the Wild God. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 627. From now on, this temple will be Fang Fan's small vault. Fang Fan walked out of the desolate god temple silently. Outside the temple, a group of people were already waiting eagerly. Starting today, we will worship the god of wilderness in the hall of the emperor. I am the messenger of the wild god, and I will take over the power of reward and punishment in place of the wild god. Shan Hu. Fang Fan said solemnly, at this time, this kind of force must be pretended. As for the rest, just keep calm. Activate the magic skill, the majesty of Aragama. Fang Fan murmured to himself, the first time he pretended to be forceful, he couldn't ignore it. Originally, everyone had unconditional trust in Fang Fan. At this moment, after Fang Fan activated the majestic magic skill of Huang Shen, the surrounding area suddenly rolled over with divine power. People subconsciously have to kneel down and worship God. This is the true God. Long live Lord God. Great desolate God. Please bless our spiritual race. Great Aragama. I request to be your most loyal believer. Before the others spoke, Ling Shang, the patriarch of the spiritual clan, rushed over impatiently, with a look of infinite excitement on his face. Immediately everyone, their own mountain call. Ding. Get first level believers add 1. Second level believers add 1, first level believers add 1. The number of believers started to accumulate like crazy. This wave of pretending to be a ghost is indeed still somewhat effective. Believers are mainly divided into 1 to 10 grades. The first to third level believers belong to a little faith, but if they want to make him do something for their faith, they will not be willing. This level of believers is relatively wide and is called pan-believers. Relatively speaking, even if believers of the 4th to 6th levels are more concerned about their beliefs, they are willing to sacrifice often, and they will not risk their lives for it. This is called a shallow believer. Believers of the 7th to 9th levels are more pious for their faith. Basically, they will focus on the inheritance of faith. Generally, only the priests and priests of the temple can have such a degree of piety. Such believers are called devout believers. A 10th level believer is extremely rare. Faith has reached the level of madness and even madness. For the existence of destroying beliefs, he will disregard his own life to defend his beliefs. This is called a fanatic. Pan-believers, shallow believers, devout believers, mad believers. Different levels have different powers of faith. According to what the system said, 1 to 3 level pan-believers can bring 1 to 10 traces of the power of faith in a year. But because of the large number of believers of this type, it is quite impressive. A shallow believer who reaches the 4th to 6th level can bring 1 to 10 traces of the power of faith in about a month, which is the faithful foundation of the temple. As for the devout believers of the 7th to 9th level, it is very precious. Basically, one day can bring a little faith. The most advanced mad believer can even bring a full ray of faith in one day, which is 100 strands of faith in conversion. A trace of faith is equivalent to a point of creation. If you can cultivate a few mad believers, you will be prosperous. 100 traces of the power of faith every day is 100 creation points. Tisk, don't be too cool. Ding. 7th level believers add 1. Fang Fan was in the middle of his imagination, and suddenly such a system sound came from his mind, making Fang Fan stunned for a while. Before that, what he obtained was basically some pan-believers like 1st level believers and 2nd level believers. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 628. A devout believer like a 7th level believer needs to be brainwashed every day to obtain it. Whose faith is so powerful? He is a good seedling who is a god stick. Fang Fan showed an interested look on his face, and then clicked on the attribute panel of this 7th level devout. Ling Shang. Fang Fan's mouth twitched, it was this guy. Fang Fan instantly understood, yes, this guy has always been very sensitive to these true gods and the like, and it can even be said that he is particularly worshipful. Ling Shang has become a 7th level devout believer. One day can bring me a little faith, which is equivalent to a point of creation, which is very good. Fang Fan looked at Ling Shang with a teachable expression. At present, I have been using the majesty of the gods for more than 10 minutes. Almost all who can become believers have already become. It can't be done, I'm afraid it will be difficult to break through its defense line in a short time. There are only about 400,000 or 500,000 survivors gathered in the entire Zhongcheng. And the number of people who can come here to watch the miracles is about 200,000. Among the more than 200,000 survivors, 100,000 believers were born. It seems that my charm is not bad. Fang Fan's mouth twitched slightly, thinking to himself. Among the 100,000 believers, 90,000 are pan-believers of the 1st to 3rd levels, and only 10,000 are shallow believers of the 4th to 6th levels. As for the devout believers above the 7th level, there is only one Ling Shang. According to the previous law of increasing the power of belief, a pan-believer can provide 1 to 10 strands of the power of faith in a year. Nearly 100,000 pan-believers can get about 100,000 to 1 million strands of the power of faith a year. Make a compromise, you can get about 40,000 to 500,000 faith power in a year, and 40,000 faith power in a month. Hey, it seems inconspicuous, but it's actually a lot. In addition to 14,000 to 6th level shallow believers, they can also provide the power of faith that is less than 40,000 to 50,000 in a month. In this way, according to the current number of believers, I can stabilize nearly 100,000 pieces of faith in a month. That is, to get nearly 100,000 creation points in a month. 100 creation points can promote a 1-star king level legion to a 2-star king level. 100,000 creation points, Wouldn't it be possible to promote a 4-star king-level legion to 5-star? Fang Fan took a deep breath. This is too cool. No wonder these true gods like to create temples when they have nothing to do all day. The benefits are too high. This is only the benefit brought by 100,000 believers. If it is a million, 10 million. Fang Fan can already foresee the days when he sits at home and counts money. Ding. The number of believers has reached 100,000. No more new believers can be recruited. Please upgrade the main temple or build a new branch temple. A system sound suddenly came from his ear, and Fang Fan was stunned for a while. Play with me. Just when I was working hard for my grand ambitions, it hit my self-confidence like this. System, what's going on? Is there a limit on the number of believers? Fang Fan took a deep breath, looking particularly unhappy. It's like a huge sum of money is about to arrive, but someone told that it was robbed halfway. The duck to the mouth flew. Ding. The main temple of the 9-rank temple can only accommodate up to 100,000 believers. Ding. The host can increase the capacity of believers by upgrading to an 8th grade temple. The host can also increase the capacity of believers by establishing a branch temple. Ding. 9th rank forces can build a main temple and 2 branch temples. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 629. Upgrade to the 8th rank power. Where did I get this kind of capital now? You are building a branch temple. Stop the ink. Fang Fan waved his hand, looking extraordinarily heroic. Ding. It takes a lot of spirit crystals to build a branch temple, not enough spirit crystals. Fang Fan. To put it bluntly, now it's over if you can't increase the number of believers. Too goofy. Fang Fan wanted to cry but had no tears, but the grand plan and great wishes just now were all overwhelmed in an instant. There are only 2 ways to continue to increase the number of believers now. First, promote to the 8th rank power and upgrade the 8th rank temple. According to the system, the main temple of the 8th rank temple can accommodate 1 million believers. It is 10 times the number of the main temple of the 9th rank temple. Second, that is to build the sub-temple of the 9th grade temple. The 9th grade temple can have 2 independent sub-temples, and the sub-temple can accommodate half of the number of believers in the main temple. That is to say, a 9-rank temple can accommodate 50,000 more believers. If 2 9-rank temples are built, it can accommodate 100,000 more believers, which is equivalent to doubling the original 100,000. But it takes a very large amount of spiritual crystals to build the 9-rank temple. I'm so special, I don't have so many reserves at all. Fang Fan shook his head and gradually accepted this fact. Tai Zhen's facts are in front of him, and it's not that he can just let him go if he wants to renege on his debts. The human heart is not enough to swallow an elephant. It was really a picture just now. In fact, it is already a lot to accumulate 100,000 threads of faith power in 1 month, and it is 100,000 to convert it into Genesis points. If it's all used to develop the inner world of Shushan Pavilion, it will be able to open up tens of millions of square meters of land. Fang Fan thought to himself. Greed is a basic human instinct. Since it is impossible to increase the number of believers, let's improve the quality of believers. If all of them can be transformed into shallow believers of level 4 to 6 or even devout believers of level 7 or above, it will be very explosive. Fang Fan glanced at the believers in front of him. It's time to advertise the benefits of the great God of desolation to them. Master! Master! Are you all right? Ling Shang shouted in surprise. Originally, all the ceremonies were held well, but suddenly Fang Fan's face showed a strange look. gradually showing a strange smile, laughing from time to time, and secretly scolding a few times from time to time. Cough, then what? I went to see Aragami just now. His old man explained something to me. That's right. The arrogant god has specially explained that the belief of Ling Shang, the patriarch of the spiritual clan, is very sincere. The future is promising. Fang Fan doesn't blush when he talks nonsense. Now that you have chosen the path of the God Stick, you must have the mind and confidence of the God Stick. Aragami, the great true God. He actually paid attention to the humble me. My God. I'm so excited. Thank you for the praise of Aragami. Thank you God Envoy for delivering the news. Ding. The 7th level devout Lingshang was promoted to the 9th level devout. Looking at Lingshang, who was excited and flushed, and listening to the system sound in his ear, Fang Fan opened his mouth and sighed. What a good seed. A proper godly choice. Lord God Envoy. Now that you have established the palace of the 9th rank power human emperor, I will still call you the palace master from now on. Also, please accept our spirit race as a member of the human emperor's palace. My spirit race is willing to be loyal to the palace lord for the rest of my life. May I protect the human race forever. Be a vassal of the human race. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 630. Ling Shang said very frankly, while speaking, he knelt directly on his knees, his head hit the ground, and there was a bang. Fang Fan's mouth was slightly raised. Ling Shang had told him about this before, so Fang Fan was not surprised. I, Fang Fan, as the master of the Hall of the Emperor of the 9th rank power, accept the spiritual race to settle in the Hall of the Emperor. Become a member of the Hall of the Emperor. The Hall of the Emperor will set up 3 deputy Hall Masters. Ling Shang, you will lead the entire spiritual race to serve the Hall of the Emperor. The first deputy Hall Master is yours. Fang Fan is trying to win over people's hearts at this moment. In fact, the average combat power of the entire spirit race is much stronger than that of the human race. Even if the spiritual race is in decline, it has developed for thousands of years after all. Compared with other people, the human race is too young. However, since Ling Shang had taken effect without hesitation, he still had to have the proper attitude. The position of a deputy hall master is nothing. Thank you for the gift of the hall master. Your subordinates will die. Ling Shang showed gratitude. The deputy hall master of the 9th rank power, this status is not low. In addition, I also want you to serve as the Grand Priest of the Wild God Temple. Responsible for recruiting believers for the Wild God Temple. Improve the believers' faith. The Wild God is with you. Fang Fan looked at Ling Shang with a burning gaze, fooling him to join the Temple of the Wild God, which is of great significance. On the one hand, this guy has enough faith. After all, he is already a 9th level devout believer, and he is only a thin line from a 10th level mad believer. On the other hand, he is the patriarch of the Eldar, and his identity is enough to represent something. Just imagine that the patriarch of the spiritual race is the great priest of the desolate God temple, which can naturally drive more spiritual race to believe in the desolate God. Fang Fan specially consulted the dog system before. Although it is said that the number of believers that can be accommodated in the main temple of the wild god can only be 100,000, but these 100,000 are excerpted from the number of beliefs from high to bottom. For example, if there are 1 million people who are followers of Aragami, then the power of faith that Fang Fan can receive every month is what the 100,000 believers with the highest power of faith consecrate to him. Therefore, recruiting high-quality believers is still very important. Palace Master, He Nang, can take on this important task. I'm not qualified to serve the great true God. Ling Shang's hands trembled, and countless excited rays of light appeared in his eyes. There is no doubt that he is very willing in his heart, and can even be said to be very sincere. It was just a little bit hard to believe that such a good thing could come to him for a while. He, Huang Shen asked you to be a high priest by name, why? You want to refuse? Then I will reply to Huang Shen like this. Fang Fan chuckled, he didn't lie. He is the god of wildness, and it is indeed Ling Shang who he named to be the great priest. No, no, no. I dare not refuse. Naturally I dare not refuse. I do. I am very willing to contribute my strength to the great origami. Ling Shang said quickly, obviously he believed what Fang Fan said was true. That's good. Right now our Yellow God Temple is only a 9th rank temple, so the highest priesthood can only be a great priest. When our temple level increases, your priesthood will naturally be promoted. You can't do it alone in such a huge desolate temple. You can develop more priests and come to serve as priests and priests. Origami is with you. Fang Fan gestured with a smile. Follow the palace master. I will definitely not live up to the expectations of the great desolate god. I also dare not disappoint the palace master.